Sit back, relax, and enjoy living with the land. Por su seguridad, permanezca sentado con sus manos y brazos, pies y piernas dentro del barco y cuida a los pequeñitos. A manera de recordatorio, no tomar foto con flash y luz de video antes de llegar a Nigandero. Sudden changes are slowly occurring. The approaching storm may seem violent and destructive to us, but to nature, it's a new beginning of the cycle of life. Surface of the land, rich trap water from the flowing mud, extracting precious nutrients and minerals. These elements, when combined with sunlight, create one of the first living systems of our planet. Living systems is the rainforest, home to the most amazing concentration of life on our planet. These dense and beautiful forests cover only a tiny portion of the Earth's surface, but they contain more than half of its land and oceans. Rainforests are also extremely rich in productive living systems, providing us with oxygen, food, medicine, and other elements essential to our lives. Plants and animals that have learned to survive in these harsh conditions make use of what little water they can find and avoid the scorching rays of the relentless sun. The American prairie once appeared as desolate as the desert, but over time, rainwater and nutrients gradually penetrated the hard surface of this land. Even the hooves of the mighty buffalo helped create the rich soil that would one day become home to the American farm. Of all the forces at work on the land, humans have had one of the most profound effects. The need to produce food for a growing world led to the enormous use and sometimes overuse of the land. In our search for more efficient ways to grow food, we often fail to realize the impact of our methods. Today, we're learning to live with the land, discovering better ways to grow food that will assure both human and environmental well-being.
Mixing these and other materials into our soil, we and using natural predators, like ladybugs and wasps, to control pests. In the farmlands across America, we're learning that by plowing under vegetation containing natural fertilizers, we can enrich the soil without the use of chemicals. In arid regions, we're learning to produce food on desert seacoasts by developing and planting crops that thrive on salt water. In Japan, we're learning that by mixing leaves and other living materials into our soil, we can make farmland more fertile without the need for chemicals.
How will we meet tomorrow's growing needs for food production and still respect the needs of today? Some of the answers are being discovered just ahead. To help us maintain these carefully controlled ecosystems now and for your safety, please remain seated in your boat at all times. The tropics are home to the greatest diversity of plants on the planet. Many of them, like papaya, banana, cacao, coffee, and rice, are well known around the world. These are just a few of the edible plants that have... Welcome to our living laboratory, where scientists from Epcot and the U.S. Department of Agriculture are exploring innovative ways to produce healthy harvests now and into the future. Some, like the water lily, thrive in wet, swampy areas and waterways. The tropics are home to the greatest diversity of plants on the planet. Many of these, like papaya, bananas, cacao, coffee, and rice, are well known around the world. These are just a few of the edible plants that have been an important source of nutrition for people living in the tropics. Many are rich in vitamins and minerals, while others are well adapted to growing in less than ideal conditions. Some, like the water lily, thrive in wet, swampy areas and waterways. All parts of this plant, even the flower petals, are edible. The starchy root of the plant has long been used to make flour for baking. One day, many of these lesser-known tropical plants may be as important as the bananas growing on both sides of the boat. More than 28 million tons of bananas are eaten annually, making it the most popular fruit in the world. When we mention farming, you probably don't think of fish, but fish farming, or aquaculture, accounts for nearly half of all the seafood consumed globally. Tilapia, bass, and catfish, like the ones you see here, are three of the more popular crops raised by fish farmers. The sustainable system we're using here recycles the water in the tanks. As a result, we're able to save millions of gallons each year. You probably don't think of small fish farmer using nearly 100,000 pounds for nearly half years to serve as a source of both tilapia, bass, and catfish. Interjections like this you see here play an important role in our efforts to raise our fish farms. Instead, a sustainable system we're using here recycles the water in the tanks. As a result, we're able to save millions of gallons each year. Our small fish farm produces nearly 5,000 pounds of fish each year to serve in restaurants around Walt Disney World. Innovations like this one can play an important role in our efforts to produce powerful harvests and still protect natural resources. While there are more than 50,000 edible plant species in the world, most of us are only familiar with a handful that make up our everyday diet. The common grains growing here, wheat, maize, sorghum, and millet, plus rice, account for nearly 2/3 of our global food consumption. Learning how to increase yields of these staples is an important goal of our research around the world. While there are more than 50,000 edible plant species in the world, most of us are only familiar with the handful that make up our everyday diet. The common grains growing here, wheat, maize, sorghum, and millet, plus rice, account for nearly 2/3 of our global food consumption. Learning how to increase yields of these
plants
staples
are
is an
definitely
important
on their
goal
way
of
up.
research around the
Innovative
world.
growing techniques like these increase yields while more efficiently using resources like water, fertilizer, and pesticides. Another innovation at work here is our integrated pest management program. By populating our greenhouses with beneficial insects that prey on harmful pests, like aphids and flies,
These plants
we are
are definitely on their
reducing
way
our
up.
reliance on conventional
Innovative growing
pesticides.
techniques like these increase
We're
yields
growing
while
these
more
crops
efficiently
our
using
nutrient
resources
film
like
system.
water,
This
fertilizer,
technique
and
precisely
pesticides.
controls and
Another
recycles
innovation
water
at work
and
here
nutrients.
is our integrated pest
We can
management
produce over
program. By
27,000
populating our
plants a
greenhouses
year
with beneficial
in one
insects
small
that
area.
prey on harmful pests, like aphids and flies, we are significantly reducing our reliance on conventional pesticides. We're growing these crops using our nutrient film system. This technique precisely controls and recycles water and nutrients. With it, we can produce over 27,000
Some
heads
of our
lettuce
best
a year
ideas
in
have
this
been
one small
inspired by
area.
nature, like these fruit and vegetable trees. By growing these ground plants vertically, we can increase yields and better control diseases. These crops taste as good as they look. In fact, we serve more than 15 tons of produce from our greenhouses and restaurants here at the land.
Some of our
every year.
best ideas have been inspired by nature, like these fruit and vegetable trees. By growing these ground plants vertically, we can increase yields and better control diseases. These crops taste as good as they look. In fact, we serve more than 15 tons of produce from our greenhouses and restaurants here at the land every year.
The future of agriculture may include innovative ideas like this vertical growing system. Plants grown in this way use a fraction of the space required by traditional growing methods. That saves water and increases production. The aquaponics system on your left combines hydroponics with aquaculture. The fish provide a natural source of fertilizer for the plants.
The future of agriculture
keep the water
may
clean.
include innovative ideas
It's
like
another
this
great
vertical
way
growing
to
system.
store while
Plants
keeping
grown in
life.
this way use a fraction of the
In our
space
lab,
required by
Epcot
traditional
scientists
growing
are working
methods.
with the
That
US
saves
Department of
water and
Agriculture
increases
on a number
production.
of
The
innovative
aquaponics
projects.
system
The
on your
goal of
left
these efforts
combines
is to
hydroponics
produce
with
higher yielding and
aquaculture.
better
The
quality
fish
plants.
provide a natural source of fertilizer for the plants, and the plants help keep the water clean for the fish. It's another great way to produce more while using less. In our lab, Epcot scientists are working with the U.S. Department of Agriculture on a number of innovative projects. The goal of these efforts is to produce higher yielding and better quality plants.
These greenhouses represent just a fraction of the work being done worldwide to produce bountiful harvests for our growing population. Scientists, farmers, and even backyard gardeners are doing their part to improve the quantity and quality of foods that we all rely upon. Together, we can continue to find more ways to increase food production and protect our precious natural environment. Only then will we truly be living with the land. These greenhouses represent just a fraction of the work being done worldwide to produce bountiful harvests for our growing population. Our living laboratory. If you'd like to scientists and farmers and even backyard gardeners are doing their part to improve the quantity and quality of foods that we all rely on. Now, together, we can continue to find more ways to increase food production and to the inside the natural environment. Seated until the boat comes floating in, will we truly be living with the land. On behalf of Walt Disney World, we hope you've enjoyed this unique journey through our living laboratories. If you'd like a closer look, then check out the Behind the Scenes walking tour. It's a chance for the whole family to get up close and personal with the plants and growing techniques in our laboratories. Please keep your hands and feet inside the boat and remain seated until the boat comes to a complete stop.